us today. Welcome to this SIGGRAPH 2019 Facebook Live chat. We're happy to have you here. We're here to discuss all things SIGGRAPH 2019 submissions, which are open now for many, many programs. My name is Mickey Rose. I'm the conference chair for SIGGRAPH 2019, and I am joined here today by Max Plink, who's our VR theater director, and Michael Reed, who's our courses chair. We're going to talk to you guys a little bit today, just sort of give you an overview and take some questions. So please feel free to send those questions in as we get talking here. Just to tell you a little bit about SIGGRAPH, it stands for Special Interest Group Graphics and Interactive Techniques. And we are the premier international conference for those topics, bringing professionals and academics alike together once a year to learn and discuss and discover and grow and just in general be re-inspired in our fields. So that's something.
In LA this year, woo!
Yeah, Los Angeles, SIGGRAPH 2019. Come out and join us this summer. Yeah. As conference chair, it's been my job to put together a team to put on this show. So these gentlemen are two of my teammates here. We also have a wide variety of people on our team heading up everything from general submissions to technical papers to Computer Animation Festival to many, many other exciting programs. So that's my primary function. And then we all work together to come up with Thrive, which is our tagline and theme for the conference this year. Hopefully you've all seen our website, s2019.siggraph.org. It shows our graphic identity and how Thrive fits into that. So we're pretty excited and proud of that. And then each program chair has their own set of responsibilities putting on their program. Hey, there you go, Max. Way to hawk it. There
Website. Look at that. Shameless promotion of VR theater section.
There you go.
But I've got other sections here.
There you go. So each program chair gets to come up with a theme for their own program and work that into our overall conference theme. They put together their call for submissions and the FAQs that you see on the website. They answer all of your questions that come in via email from the website and help you get your submissions put in, and then take care of putting together a jury in many cases and jurying that content. So let me let you you guys tell them a little bit about your programs there, Max and Michael.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks. I'm the courses chair for this year, and the courses content every year at SIGGRAPH is composed of basically short courses, usually at 1.5 hours to 3 hours in length, that give some kind of content to attendees that they can really walk away with and either implement or understand more fully. So sometimes it's research content, which means material presented by researchers. Mine here?
I see you.
Yeah, I'm good. Content provided by researchers to explain their more sophisticated techniques. Sometimes it's practitioners from production. It's really a wide variety of coursework that's presented.
Did we lose Reed?
But
no, he's here.
Max, I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Can you see me?
I can see you. I can't see Reed.
Oh,
so I'm here.
I still see him.
I'm here.
I'll tell you what. I'll bounce back and forth between you guys.
Thank you.
You good, Michael? Is that a good summary?
I'm good. I'm good. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Max, take it away.
Max, do you want to say a few words about your program?
Happy to. So this is the third year that we're putting on the VR theater at SIGGRAPH. I'm really excited about what this has become. This started in 2017, and this was recognizing that SIGGRAPH was the place where computer graphics found itself as an industry, right? There was the electronic theater that was started a long time ago that was celebrating advances in computer graphics. And in 2017, we recognized, hey, VR is this emerging new medium, just like computer graphics was back in the early days of SIGGRAPH. How can we celebrate it? How can we create this venue so people can see where the state of the art is going? And so I'm continuing that tradition, creating this place so that people can show off the best of what's happening in the VR narrative space. And so we're looking forward for getting submissions from the best of the best and put on an amazing show for the attendees.
Very cool. Thank you. Michael, do you want to tell us about open programs and deadlines?
Yeah, certainly. One of the most common questions that comes up for people who are interested in contributing and also for those who are attending are about which programs are still open for submitting to and what the deadlines for those are. So that there are a lot of questions about that. And let me just say, probably the first of 1,000 times I'll say to that, which is that you can check for all of these on the website. It's at s2019.siggraph.org/submissions. If you go there, there's a list of all the deadlines for every single program. But let me just go through a few of them here and a couple of the programs that are present every year at SIGGRAPH and when their deadlines are. A great program is the production sessions. So for production sessions, we're looking for ideas and work in visual effects, animation, all the XR technologies, so VR, AR, MR, to which Max can speak a little bit in a moment, and all the themed entertainment stuff, architecture, scientific visualization, platforms we haven't even heard of yet. Those sessions all have submission deadlines of 12th of February. So you're still, 3 weeks out. Student volunteers, if you are interested in becoming a student volunteer and contributing to making the actual show run, again, February 12th is the deadline, and you can go to the website and find links to where to join up for that. And one of my favorite programs for SIGGRAPH, Happy Hour. So if you are an independent mobile app developer and you want to show your latest creation to a tech-savvy audience and network-related developers and entrepreneurs, the Happy Hour is, well, I'd say, a combination of startup demo and phenomenal cocktail hour. It's actually a little bit longer than that, and it's a great event every year. And if you are in that segment of people developing mobile apps, you should really go to the SIGGRAPH.org submissions page and sign up to demo your stuff there. That's terrific. In addition to that, there's general submissions. That covers a wide range of SIGGRAPH programs. It all close on the 12th of February, and that includes panels, talks, educators forum, emerging technologies, where all the really latest edgy technologies are being demoed in the state they are before they actually get made into product, and you get to test them out. So it's a lot of fun there. And of course, courses, which is my own program, near and dear to my heart. If you're unsure of where your work might fit into SIGGRAPH, the general submissions page is a great place to start. You can ask questions. I'd say on the SIGGRAPH site, at the bottom of all the pages that are specific to their different programs, there's a form you can fill out if you have questions about it. It'll automatically route your questions to the right person. Maybe you've got a couple words about that, Mickey. That's right. If they go to the particular page for the program they're interested in, Mickey, it'll give a form at the bottom so they can submit their questions directly to the program chair.
Each of our programs has their own page on the website, and there's a contact form at the bottom of the page. Max is showing it right now.
Thanks.
Max for the assist. Those forms come directly to the program chair for the program that you send it to, and then I see them as well, and a couple of our contractor team. So you're guaranteed to get the right answer that way, one way or another. So please do send any questions you have in. We're happy to help whenever we can.
Thanks, and thanks for the multimedia contribution there, Max. Clearly getting ready for something at SIGGRAPH that's big. Something new this year, art gallery submissions. So the art gallery is no longer curated. It is juried, but it's no longer curated. And that accepts submissions until the 29th of January. So the deadline's a little bit closer than the rest of those programs I was mentioning. Art papers.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner. But you can still do it. If you've got something great, please submit it. Art papers, for long papers, the deadline's passed, but for short papers until January 29th, we'd love to see your précis of your research, and maybe you guys have something to say about that. That's a great program, right?
I'm very, very excited to have a juried art gallery again. That's something that when I was taking feedback from members and attendees at the conference leading up to my start for this project, people were very vocal about wanting to be able to submit to the art gallery again. So I'm very pleased to be able to do that, as is Brittany Ransom, who is our art gallery chair. Just so you know, her theme for the art gallery this year is proliferating possibilities, speculative futures in art and design. Speculative futures in art and design, because I can't talk, you guys. Get those submissions in. We're excited about that.
Those programs that we just went through all have kind of a nearer deadlines from the art papers and art gallery, which are January 29th. to the Happy Hour production session, student volunteers, and general submissions, which have deadlines on February 12th. But some programs have even later deadlines. Computer Animation Festival, the XR, the XR stuff. Max, maybe you can talk a little about the deadlines for that. For your program,
so this is, we just opened up submissions for VR Theater.
Woohoo!
The VR, AR, MR just opened up for the Immersive Pavilion. Computer Animation Festival is open up, the Electronic Theater, kind of this amazing event that happens at SIGGRAPH. I'm very excited about that. Let's see. So the as well the posters are available as well. Posters just opened up, and Mickey, you can also talk to the Adaptive Technology, which is a new program this year.
Yep, a brand new program pitched by one of the members on our conference team, who is heading up that program, Natalie Roundtree, and her co-chair Dylan. They are very excited to present technology that helps people, people with disabilities, people with alternative needs, that sort of thing. Anything that helps live your everyday life, or make graphics that much more accessible for you, or make something just that much easier to get to and to use and to thrive with. We are looking for any kind of technology that allows that sort of thing. We're expecting a lot of adaptive technology to show up in our experience hall venues, so Art Gallery, Studio, Emerging Technologies, Immersive Pavilion. But there might even be adaptive technology talks or courses or things like that. We don't know. We're open to everything. So if you've got some kind of amazing tech that fits that realm, please submit it. We're excited to see it.
Absolutely. If you are an expert in HCI, expanding the use and range of user interfaces in any devices in this realm, please submit your stuff. We'd love to see it.
Yeah. And so I forgot to mention, for Computer Animation Festival, Electronic Theater, VR, AR, MR, the deadline for submitting for the Electronic Theater is going to be March 16th, and for the for VR, AR, MR, it's going to be March 26th. No, sorry about that. Electronic Theater is March 19th, and VR, AR, MR, and VR Theater is March 26th. So this is the season to put together what you want to show at SIGGRAPH and submit it our way.
I was just moving over to the submission page just to check, because I was like, wait, I thought it was the 19th.
Yeah.
I mixed up the 26th and the 16th.
You're fine.
March-ish.
Yeah,
March-ish. But,
right.
When March is here, you should be submitting.
Beware the Ides of March.
Absolutely.
That's
and maybe
right.
we can have a little bell that goes
go.
off every time I say, if you're unsure of the submission deadline, just go to s2019.siggraph.org/submissions, where all the deadlines are listed.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Yeah. Now, one thing we didn't cover yet.
And we can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy to help. Birds of a feather.
Good call.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mickey or Max, you'll be able to pitch Birds of a Feather better than I, but it's a terrific program for getting together people to have discussions at more of a peer-to-peer level of new techniques and technologies.
I would call them basically meetup groups. If you have some kind of topic that you want to talk to people who are also interested in it at the conference, pitch a Birds of a Feather, submit for that, and try to get your event going. It's been a really, really great way to see what's up and coming in the conference areas, like what we need to be paying attention to and incorporating into our programming. So that's pretty cool. That program opens for submissions on March 1st and will go through June, late June, I think, just because it doesn't take us too long to get those assigned out. So feel free to submit if an idea comes up late even.
Yeah, the deadline for that is, it opens on March 1st, and when's the end of the deadline for Birds of a Feather?
Well, that's what I was saying. It's late. It's like June or maybe even early July.
You know what? Actually, I happen to have it here.
July
26th. July 26th. So you can don't wait. Think of your great ideas and submit as soon as you can. But that's a terrific format for get-togethers and information exchange.
Cool. Yeah. So if you're ready to submit, then Max is going to talk to you through the logistics here.
That's right. Here, let me bring up my notes on this. Michael's already covered a lot of this. We can help. There's a lot of information on the website. One of the most important things to know is don't wait to the last minute. We want you to get involved in the submission process, get comfortable with the material you need to submit, what information you need to give us, doing that through the link system, which actually, when you start getting deeper into the setup, you'll go to the linklings when you say, I want to submit. You'll create an account on linklings, and depending on the program, you will get a form with the information you need to submit. And so for stuff like computer animation, VR theater, immersive pavilion, we may ask for a 2D trailer. We may ask for the VR experience itself or the actual piece you're submitting to electronic theater. And that's all available in the also an FAQ in each one of the submission sites. So you can see here. So I'm back on the 2019 web. You can see for each section. So say for, let's go to VR theater. Click here. And so here you can see that there is some information about submission. There's a time zone because we want to make sure you submit before the deadline at the exact hour. There's information about what each program is. There are how-tos instructions. There is stuff about jury, if it's a juried program, and a bunch more information. So you can find a lot of it here. But you can always reach out to us, contact us if you have any questions. If you get involved in the linklings process and you get stuck, we're happy to help. Please reach out. We'll also follow up if we see that you have started a draft and there's some information missing. We'll say, hey, were you still planning on submitting? So we're here to help make it the best experience possible.
Cool, great information, Alex.
I was going to add one thing too. A couple of our programs are handling permissions a little bit differently this year.
Right.
Computer Animation Festival, production sessions, VR theater. For all of those programs, rather than submit your content, wait to hear about acceptance, and then if it's accepted, you work on a permissions form like we have done in previous years. This year, when you submit your project, you're going to have to go ahead and get the permissions form filled out. That should solve some permissions problems that we've been having over the last couple of years for us, and make sure that your submission is valid and that there is permission to show that content at SIGGRAPH. So it's a win-win for everybody, but it is a big change this year. So we just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. And that kind of goes along with the don't wait until the last minute, because you're going to need time to get that form filled out. So go ahead and get that done. I see some questions coming up in the comment section. Also, just so you guys watching at home know, there's answers to some of the questions and links being given in the comment section. So if you want to revisit something, check there. But I do see a question asking what's the best way to ask questions. And I think that was referring to those website forms. So if you go to the program page within our website, down at the bottom is that contact form. So fill that out, send it in, and we will get those messages and get back to you as soon as possible. Max will show you there again.
Yeah, just bringing it up.
Yeah.
So here, just bringing up so this is the submissions page, right? It's the button. The Learn More tab that's at the top of the website will bring you here. You will see a picture of Mickey going around the right section. You'll see all the program images. So this is how, hey, I know I want to submit to VR theater or to courses. And then here is the form at the bottom where we are looking at this on a daily basis. So we will get back to you.
Yep.
Very much so. And then I also saw a question asking about art papers, whether the short and long art papers are going to be included in the art gallery or not. They are separate programs. So you would submit to the art papers program separately from the art gallery. And so I see those questions being answered in the comments too. Just wanted to reiterate that in case anybody else was wondering. So we were going to tell you a little bit too about how we choose the work that comes into the conference. And when I say we, I mean our very esteemed juries and reviewer groups. So for general submissions, for example, that covers several programs that you know and love. So talks and courses and panels and emerging technologies and studio. All of those things get juried all together. So when you submit to those programs, you check a box saying where you think it should be, but that content goes into a giant pool, and our reviewers look at it and review it, give it a rating, and then when we come together on site at the jury meeting, they will review them together and look at the ratings that are there and discuss anything that had like high ratings and low ratings within the group of reviewers that looked at it, and sort of rank everything against each other. And at that point, different programs are allowed to say, like, I think this belongs here. And then there's debate about where a project will go. So something could end up in emerging technologies or in studio. There's a lot of crossover for those two. So that's pretty cool to know. I think it's a nice system that we have set up there. Let's see. While we are taking submissions, our general submissions chair, Ginger Alford, has been working very hard to get that reviewer and jury pool together. So she's been looking for experts in many, many different areas to come and look at that content and make sure that we have reviewers for all the types of content that might be submitted to SIGGRAPH. You might expect it to be a little bit difficult to do that, to predict what kind of content we're going to get. So we try to cover everything possible. So each submission gets reviewed by several people. And once it's brought in and everything's ranked together, then it is the jurors and Ginger and all of our other program chairs that are part of that group that will look at that content and try to figure out how to place it within the conference and where things fit and come up with a schedule that works for us. So when you get to SIGGRAPH on site there at the conference in 2019 in Los Angeles this summer, we'll have a schedule for you. There'll be a whole big, long, week-long schedule that you can choose from. So that's their job to put that together. So that's pretty exciting. I look forward to seeing that done. That's a big step, as you might expect.
One other thing I want to mention is if you have VR, AR content, and you're not sure if it should be in the VR theater or the VR, AR, MR program, Victoria, who is the chair for VR, AR, MR, we are very close. We talk often. So feel free to just submit to a program that feels right to you, and it will find the right place.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Definitely. Everybody's pretty communicative and collaborative on this. And sometimes good submissions get moved to a slightly different venue with the discussions with the author, if it's the more appropriate spot for them, because we do realize, especially for first-time submitters, it can seem daunting, but it is much easier than it sounds.
Cool. Would you guys like to tell us a little bit more about your programs and what you're looking for them?
Sure, I'd be happy to, and I'm sure Max would too. We're looking for courses that basically either are on the focus for SIGGRAPH, which is adaptive or assistive technologies, as they relate to graphics, animation, interaction. Courses on foundational techniques in mathematics, because so much of computer graphics, especially on the technical paper side, is based on very, very complicated and sophisticated mathematical techniques. Oftentimes, people who give technical papers often give a course describing the techniques in more depth. And we really appreciate those submissions because they're usually very well attended. And I've gone to many of those courses myself to make head or tail of a technical paper and left understanding it much better. Anything that's related to aspects of AR, VR, we'd like to see course proposals for. And short course proposals that connect the submissions to the Emerging Technologies program or the art gallery or the studio. All of those are subjects that we're really, really interested in. I think for many people who might think their material wouldn't cover, say, a college course, these typically run 1.5 hours to 3 hours in length, so it's a lot more manageable. There's a set of criteria we evaluate it by, and we are considering how exceptional are the ideas, how well is the presentation going to be. Part of the proposal process is at least a sketch of the course notes for courses, and you'll find this for all the programs that you'll have to submit. The basic material showing what it is you're going to be presenting, so it can be evaluated. For talks, you'll give an abstract of the talk, for example, and any supporting imagery and video you're going to be speaking about. How fresh and new is it? If it's a groundbreaking approach, or it's an existing approach with a twist, or if it's on a subject that people really, really need to know about, and year after year they still need to know about it. For example, the physics of animation is a course that's very commonly given because we don't run out of people who need help understanding the mathematics of that. So that's a very, very common course. And finally, we look at the completeness and the quality and craft of the presentation. And maybe it's kind of the same. Max, how do you evaluate your submissions? Is it something similar to that, or is it kind of a different feel?
It is. Of course, we're looking for something that is excellent, that is something that will wow people, that that it will amaze the audience and inspire. We're a little different in that I'm looking for stuff that's pushing a medium forward. I want to see where is the evolution of VR narratives going. I want to see something where someone is looking at what has happened before and adding that next verb, that noun, to the language of what we're doing. We are looking for experiences that are about 10 minutes-ish, ideally. Most experiments in the VR narrative space are shorts. We're looking to use headsets like this that I have here on my desk. We're looking to for experience for the main VR theater that are seated experiences, where it will this beautiful panoramic room where the audience will all sit down together, put on the headsets, and then be able to look around you. And this year, hopefully interact. We're encouraging people to submit content that may require a little bit of engagement in the story. So we're going to have the touch controllers as part of the experience. We are also looking for novel innovations in new hardware. There's some exciting new hardware coming out, and we want to see what people are doing with that, right? I have something like, so this is what we use in VR theater. You can see it's a tethered device, but then we have stuff that's on interesting content, like here's an Oculus Go. So this is a standalone headset, has less compute power, but there's some really cool things happening on the space. And that's the cool thing, is finding itself as a medium. And so every year there's new stuff that is novel, awe-inspiring. And so that's what we're looking for is, oh my God, I haven't seen someone think of VR in this way. But on top of that, we want excellent execution, something that people can tell, that's not just a brilliant novel idea, but that's someone who's really doing a great job with the craft.
Hey, Max, on that note, I see there's a question coming in about somebody interested in submitting a speaker to the VR, AR, MR program. Would a collaborative, interactive 3D design platform meet the criteria is the question.
Absolutely, yes. We want to see how people are using, we are showing the way of how is VR extending the narrative language. And so VR theater is this very special event where people in the bustle of the SIGGRAPH conference can actually escape into this other place, very much like electronic theater. But the Immersive Pavilion is all about showing how are people taking this new bit of technology and doing really cool solutions in entertainment, enterprise, education, data analysis, the whole thing. We're art on its own. So this media is a rich space, and that's what we want to demonstrate. Cool. So please, yes, if it is an idea in the AR, VR, MR space, please submit it.
Cool. Looks like there's another question for you. Also, what's the difference between emerging technologies and VR, AR, MR?
It's a good question. So all of these programs are going to be in the experience hall. And this is a credit to Mickey that they're all going to be similar in theme, right? There was a time where emerging technology was where you saw cutting edge VR stuff. I am excited that SIGGRAPH is recognizing that VR, AR, MR is this really promising new field where all this cool stuff is happening. And then emerging technology is where maybe that future, the very fledgling, budding type of ideas are going. I can imagine a space where there are going to be some really cool VR ideas in emerging technology. It's going to be up to Victoria and the Emerging Technologies Chair to decide that. But they're going to be arranged in the experience hall so the flow of all of the attendees will say, hey, that's a cool thing in VR, AR, MR, and then they'll also be seeing emerging technologies close by. So we recognize that there's a blurred line there, and that's why we say just submit to whatever program you feel like fits you, and we'll find it the right home.
We'll figure out where it goes. I think
we'll sort it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to look at it. I like that description that emerging technologies is truly where things are emerging, like brand new technology, not tested necessarily, so it may be an interesting user experience, but really, really cool ideas just sort of hatching. And then maybe the next step is you see it in the VR, AR, MR area, where it's been tested a little bit, it's out for users, but it's brand new and you don't quite see it everywhere yet. And then maybe even later on, you could include the exhibition in that. So after that, maybe you see it on the exhibition floor being sold and being shopped for by consumers and things like that. So that's a pretty cool way to look at that.
In emerging technologies in the past, I've seen some really great things that were just at the edge between art and technology. Not products, but really beautiful integrations of art and tech together that, were really, clearly not ready for, productization but really gave a really new and unique experience. And if you've got anything like that, emerging technologies is a great place to submit it.
And I think there's a lot of blurred lines that happen in our experience hall area too, between all of the programs within there, because like studio and art gallery, you can see a lot of crossover happening there. What you're doing in the studio often would become something that would be shown in the art gallery. And the same thing, like emerging technology could also go the studio route rather than the VR route. So I think there's a lot of like crossover happening, and we're trying hard to look at it holistically rather than have like divider lines between the programs. And new this year is that adaptive technology program that is going to like kind of cross over all of them too. So that one's in there as well, kind of a fifth element to that grouping.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about SIGGRAPH. So go ahead.
Oh, just Chrissy had a comment. Chrissy, our studio chair.
Oh, yeah.
She just wanted to do +1. Submit your ideas for hands-on workshops and activities. A comment there. So I think the experience hall is going to be really exciting. Mickey's done this amazing job of really maximizing the LA space to create this place where you'll see all this tech that are close siblings of each other. And I think it will maximize the audience experience because it feels like it'll all be co-located in this novel, emerging, exciting, inspiring space.
Yeah, thank you, Max. And I would turn around and give that credit to our program chairs because I think they're doing all the heavy lifting here and have put together some great stuff. So that's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
Aye, Captain.
Hey, Mickey, maybe you can expand a little bit on the studio program since Chrissy wrote that in.
Yeah. Studio is a fun space to play. For me, that's always been a very hands-on area, like studio to learn how to do new things and actually like get to try out the software or get to play with the little gadgets, maybe do some coding and put together some robotics, or maybe print your 3D project that you've been waiting for the chance to do so, or create something new and see it printed immediately. There's a lot of really cool little things you can learn there. And Chrissy has some great ideas for this year. I don't want to give away her surprises, but I'm torn between like wanting to tell you all about it and then not wanting to give away the surprise there either. So what I can tell you is very, very interesting pieces coming out that she's going to have there and that people will get to collaborate on. So we'll build on them throughout the week. So it'll be pretty exciting to sort of see what happens by the end of the week. I'll be taking lots of pictures and keeping a lot of keepsakes from that one. So that's fun.
Last year they had that terrific like T-shirt on-demand printing system, and there's always 3D printers there, and a bunch of different presentations on new and edgy software. It's really terrific stuff.
Yeah, and they have workshops too, so you can sit down and learn from someone directly, like follow along with the class, learn a new skill. It's a really, really interactive and great way to learn, I feel like. So.
Yeah, what's the deadline for that? I'm looking here on my sheet. 12th February is the deadline if you're considering submitting something there for Studio. 12th February is the deadline. And again, you can find the deadlines where? At s2019.siggraph.org/submissions.
There you go. Way to plug that. I did want to ask a couple of questions. Max,
and then I'll Vanna White it.
Thank you. Let's bring this to the extra dimension. Absolutely. Thank you.
That's right.
Max, you said a couple of things I wanted to ask about to expand on a little bit. So
Sure.
one of the things you said was that VR Theater is meant for the sit-down installation right now.
Yes.
So that means that other types, like types of VR installations where you would walk around and interact a little bit more, those go to the Immersive Pavilion side, the VR, AR, MR, right?
Correct. Yeah, VR, AR, MR. That's where we're going to have the VRcade, where there's going to be more walkable space. We are going to have, as part of VR Theater, some kiosks that are on the outside. The main event is the main inside theater space, but the hope is the kiosks are a way where we can show some experiments in the space, new types of hardware to say, hey, here's maybe what's coming down the pipe next year for VR Theater, and also doesn't quite fit in the 1 hour program of the VR Theater experience. But yeah, the what we're looking for VR Theater is this showcase where you sit down and you get immersed in these amazing experiences for an hour. And so it's kind of like you can relax into it a bit. As I said, we're asking that you engage a little bit, similar to, for example, last year, Crow the Legend from Baobab was in the VRcade, and that had a bit of interactivity to it. That's the kind of stuff that we're recognizing. The field is beginning to get more interactive when it comes to narratives. And so we're going to we're going to bring that to VR Theater. But the more classic game-like experiences are going to stay in the VRcade.
Okay, cool. And you also—
and if you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say, you also mentioned that you're looking for pieces about 10 minutes or so. Does that mean if someone has a 6-minute piece or a 12-minute piece, do they still submit?
Absolutely. 10-ish is the sweet spot. We're just saying a short form. Even if you do have something that's 20 minutes long, please do submit it. When it starts getting on to 30 minutes, that's going to take up a lot of the hour if we select it. So that's going to be part of the problem, is when we're putting together an hour-long show, if we can show these excellent pieces that are of short form, that's what we're going for. So we even love, if it's this amazing experience that fits in a tight 2 minutes, awesome, right? Don't focus on this. I just wanted to warn people who had the 30-minute to an hour-long experiences. We may say, hey, this is amazing. It may not fit in VR Theater. We'll put it somewhere else in the Immersive Pavilion. So that's all.
Good call. Michael, what were you going to say? You had a comment and I interrupted.
I was just going to say, and if you are the producer of these terrific VR, AR, MR experiences, and you have a methodology for it that you'd like to teach a class in, submit to the courses program after you've submitted to the VR, AR, MR stuff. Although maybe the deadlines are more forgiving. What are the deadlines again, Max, for those programs? For courses,
for those programs, it's
February
March
12th.
So for us, it's March 26th.
Okay, so maybe you could submit to the courses program and that program if you timed it right.
Here you go.
That's right. It just means
optimistic.
submit early, right? Submit the course and submit the content to VR Theater or VR, AR, MR. Just although I guess maybe it should be do the course first, submit that plan, and then make sure to finish the experience.
Yeah,
and sus.
Way to tie it together there, guys. I like it. While I have the opportunity, I wanted to take a second to plug the SV program because those deadlines are also coming up. I think that's in the 12th February, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
12th February group. So the SV program is one that is near and dear to me as I grew up in that. I started as a student volunteer myself in 2002 and did that for 3 years. Then I was a team leader for 2. Then I was on the subcommittee for that program, and then I was on a committee called S3 that supports that program for several years. And then I was the program manager and then the program chair. So that one has really, really helped me develop into an artist and a TD and given me the network that I need to thrive in this industry. And it's also gotten me to this conference chair thing that I'm doing right now. So I really, really value that program. The people that you meet will be your friends for the rest of your life. The things that you learn will not only teach you and keep you going in your studies, but also inspire you to continue on. So I just really want that program to continue and thrive. And I know I keep using that word. I'm plugging our theme there. But I really value that program. So if you're a student and you qualify, please submit and come join us at the conference. It's a great way to get involved.
Yeah, it really is, and we're lucky to have Mickey through that program.
Can you? I don't know. Do it.
I want to heart it from here. No, I'm going to break it if I touch it. But can I just say, I'll just still give it a...
There you go. Do the paper.
Yeah, no reactions, just heart.
Cool.
Love it.
I think we're getting ready for some questions here. I see them coming.
Yeah, what do we see here?
What is the Educators Forum and Groovy Graphics assignments? Michael, would you like to answer that one for us?
You know, I'll take Groovy Graphics assignments.
Okay.
Groovy Graphics is a program that provides small, quick, hacky computer graphics, engineering, and programming assignments, the kind you get in you know, a course in school, but maybe more like a hackathon kind of thing. And you know, I think the first year for that program was last year. Is that right?
It was.
And it got some great responses and some terrific solutions to the problems that they provide. And it's a lot of fun. Again, it's kind of like a hackathon in nature. And I know that the deadline for that is also February 12th, like it is for the courses program, and for general submissions. So if you have you know, some interesting ideas on that, a problem you'd like to present to people that has a nice visual output and is a kind of a programming related, you might check out that on the website.
Yeah, I would call those ready-made graphics assignments. I think those are meant for people to take back to class and be ready to go with them. Like that's your assignment for the day. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. The Educators Forum overall is our educational aspect of the general submissions type content. So talks and courses and things like that that have an educational aspect. Maybe teachers looking for a way to teach some new subject to their students or something can sort of go to the Educators Forum, and that's like a subset of the conference built in for you. It's 2 days of content, and anything that's submitted to the general submissions programs like talks and panels and courses is up for grabs in there. I believe there's a checkbox on the form to see if you're interested in being in the
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so that's a really good way to go too. We love that one.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Let's see. What is your biggest advice for someone considering submitting to something? I can't see that part.
SIGGRAPH 2019.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, each of us might have our own piece of advice. So why don't we just take turns on this one?
Great idea.
Max, do you want to start or I'll start?
Try just the website. Yeah. How about you go?
Okay, sure. My best piece of advice, assuming you've got an idea that fits into one of these programs, you've got something to say in the computer graphics, HCI, assistive adaptive technology realm, AR, VR, etc. My biggest piece of advice would be, maybe it's a two-parter. The first is, bounce your submission off, your friends and colleagues, because that really, really helps bring it up, a notch. Can I say 3 pieces of advice? Look over the submission form to see what actually is going to be asked of you. Some of the requirements for submission are relatively lightweight, like you provide an abstract and an image or a video, and some of them are more substantial. You've got to provide pretty much what you'll be showing. So take a look at the submission requirements, what they're going to be asking from you. Bounce your ideas off somebody else. The last thing I'd say, this is a tough one. If for some reason you don't submit this year, you should, and you haven't been to SIGGRAPH, you should go to SIGGRAPH and see what it's all about, because I often run this I often say this to students who are interested in the business. SIGGRAPH is a total discriminator. You go to SIGGRAPH, you're going to be in the business. I've never heard of somebody who was interested in computer graphics or the animation world who has gone to SIGGRAPH who did not basically commit to being in this industry, because its breadth is wide, and it is a great industry to be in. There's so much incredible new technology and content that shows up at the SIGGRAPH conference that it is worth going in its own right. But I think that's it. I kept it to 3. I hope I didn't use other people's. Go ahead. Somebody else have a better piece of advice for what they should do when considering submitting to SIGGRAPH 2019?
I want to echo that it's good to see what has come before, to know, each program is pretty unique, and so to know what level of quality we're looking for and know what SIGGRAPH likes to present, it is useful just to have the experience of having gone yourself. Specifically for VR theater, VR, AR, MR, there are other conferences out there. There are film festivals that are showing VR content. And so if you have experience with seeing what's happening in the space through other conferences, you'll probably get an idea of, when it comes to anything in the VR, AR, MR space, we want all of it. And we want it to be excellent, and we want to show some really interesting idea that's taking advantage of the space. And so it's hard for me to say what it is or not, because it's all about doing something new and novel. I also loved your feedback that if your friends are telling you it's really good, you should submit it. That's good signal, right? Mm-hmm. Refine the idea against your friends, your colleagues, people you trust that have the eye or have been to SIGGRAPH themselves. That's always a good way to do it if you haven't had that chance. But I do think that when it comes to submitting to these programs, knowing what has come before is truly helpful. So I think you should still submit. You should still go through the process. I mean, there's no harm in going through the process and getting comfort with it. I would rather have abundance of content versus just a few pieces of content. And that's how you build up experience, by going through it. And we, in some cases, we'll have the time to give feedback. I'm not saying for every submission process, but it's still useful to go through the process. Even signing into Linklings, get a Linklings account so that it'll be easier to submit the next year. Once you sign up on Linklings, you'll have that account forever.
Yeah, agree. I like all of those comments. You guys took some of mine. I would say I have a couple of things left to say. One of them is start early, which I keep harking on, but it's really, really important. Do not wait until the last minute and try to submit something. Believe me, I've been through it so many years now, and I see the last minute emails from people that are just heartbreaking, saying, I missed it by 1 minute. Can you let it in? And unfortunately, no, our deadlines are hard deadlines. We cannot let anything in after the time and the date that we have set out as the submission deadline. So get those submissions in early. Make sure that you have all the permissions in line for everything that you are submitting. And then if you are in doubt, submit it. Like Max was just saying, and Michael started saying, most of my submission experience for SIGGRAPH has been like as a student many years ago, trying to submit such as Computer Animation Festival, and then trying to become a student volunteer. And I talk to students all the time who are brand new to SIGGRAPH, have never heard of it before, and I talk to them and encourage them to submit and to apply to be a student volunteer. And I get a lot of like, well, I don't know if I qualify and that sort of thing. Like, do it. Just do it. There's no reason to not submit. So just come join us at the conference. It's going to be a lot. You're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, it's the most fun that you can have while learning, like an incredible array of things and seeing things all together. It's like a technology and learning circus in a way.
Yeah.
So
I like to call it my annual dose of inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it fills you up. It fills you up in terms of inspiration, but it can also be the like fun type of exhausting, right? That's one of the reasons I appreciate that the experience hall is all in one spot. So you feel like you can just consume the fire hose of inspiration and information. But I always feel like my soul is filled up, but I need a really long nap at the end.
I do want to make one comment on something that you said, Max, and that is certainly for the general submissions, courses, talks, panels. What else am I missing in general submissions? Courses, talk, panels.
Emerging technologies.
Yeah, you pretty much always get some valuable feedback from the jury process. And maybe it's possible not to, but I don't remember it ever happening. And that, the people who review the work, review so thoughtfully and give you thoughtful advice and comments on it, even for stuff that's, absolutely riveting and groundbreaking. It is still positive and useful advice. I've been on both sides of this, by the way. I've been on the submitter side as well. And it's a really valuable experience. It's certainly worth submitting for, just for the the quality of the reviews that you get on this on your submission. But we do want to see stuff that's terrific, and we want great content. And presenting at SIGGRAPH is a lot of fun, certainly.
And you know what? Chrissy Kane agrees with you. I just saw another comment from her. She'd like to give her advice too. She says, I say, please go ahead and submit, as feedback from the jury process, regardless of whether you are accepted or not, can be very helpful in developing your project. So in agreement. We should have just had Chrissy be part of this.
Yeah.
Hi.
Like I say.
What's your favorite SIGGRAPH memory, guys?
Wow. Maxwell, are you thinking quickly? Do you have something on tap? I don't have. I need a minute to think.
Whenever I think about my favorite SIGGRAPH, I think it was back to 2004. That was my first SIGGRAPH. It's that. I think that was when I was young in my career. Just had been. I was working in computer graphics in college. Just had gotten accepted into Pixar as an intern. And then went to SIGGRAPH saying, okay, I love computer graphics. I've been told. I actually worked on a paper that got accepted as an undergraduate with a PhD student. So it was kind of like my first exposure to it. And it was one of the, that your first is you realize like, oh, I'm a computer graphics nerd. Like I didn't know how deep this went, right? Like I was in college, I studied artificial intelligence. I studied, operating systems. I was a computer science major, and then kind of was always a little artistic and found computer graphics my junior, senior year, got more involved into it in research. And then I was like, oh, this is really cool. I want to see where this rabbit hole goes. And I think it was that SIGGRAPH that year that just hooked me.
Yeah.
So sorry,
Nikki, what do you got?
That's more of a broad.
Yeah.
My favorite SIGGRAPH memory. So I have so many, and it's really, really hard to narrow it down. Like I'm sure everybody feels that way, but I think one of my absolute, I'll give two actually. And they're both volunteer based, which tells you about my typical SIGGRAPH experience so far. Number one, I think, is from SIGGRAPH 2015. I was the Computer Animation Festival director, and we put together a pre-show called Wham City Lights, which involved an app that people downloaded on their phones, and it interacted with the music that we were playing.
Yeah, that was great.
And we had these giant like light up beach balls sort of in time to the music that we threw out at the crowd. And I, as the director of this program, got to stand up on stage and face the crowd and like dance like a lunatic on stage along with the music. And it was, I swear to you, the best view in the house. Like it was so cool to see, and people were just so excited and just having fun. Like it's unusual for me, at least, in a professional experience. Just see people kind of cut loose and have a good time. It was really cool. So that's one. And then the other one that comes to mind is in 2012 when I was the program chair for student volunteers. And that was actually like really emotional for me too, because that had been 10 years in that program, and I was so proud of that moment, like being able to sort of kick off the conference. So we had this orientation meeting, and I got up on stage. And I'm in front of like 400 people, which at that point was the most people I'd ever spoken to at one time. I'm not a natural public speaker, but I'd gotten up there and had been nervous about it and was like, oh wait, this is my element. Like they're laughing at my jokes. This is okay. And it was great.
It's my people.
Yeah, they are. So that's one of my two favorite memories, I think, amongst many other awesome ones. So
yeah.
How about you, Michael?
I don't know. I think you dancing on stage probably is one of my favorites. Yeah, I always want to say, it was my last SIGGRAPH. Whatever happened last, there were a lot of great moments. I'm from the technical side. A lot of people are cross-disciplinary at SIGGRAPH. I came from a robotics AI background, but with a love of art. So meeting some really, fascinating and talented artists there who want to mix with technology always been great. But I think being in technology, you read a lot of research papers from the luminaries. You read these people's names from you don't even know where it came from. You just saw the paper. It was the first paper in its subfield, and it was brilliant. And at SIGGRAPH, you often are just at some little part of the show, you're in emerging technologies, or you're on the art gallery or someplace, or on the exhibit floor, and then you happen to notice the badge of the person next to you is that person, is that woman, is that man who did this incredible advanced research that took you weeks to even understand the paper because it was so mathematically astute, and they're really nice, and you get in a conversation with them. I love those moments. They're enlightening and terrific, and they bring a really communicative human side to technology that is difficult to find elsewhere. So I think that's the part I love about it. It's not super specific, but there it is. So
cool, very cool. I wanted to give a shout out real quick. I see Annie Miles asking a question in the comments. She was asking if the Student Volunteers page will ever do a live event, and I suspect that they will do that. They usually do a couple each year, so keep an eye out for them. Hi, Annie. Let's see. What are you most looking forward to at SIGGRAPH 20?
Yeah. I'll start it off. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the seeing what incredible new content we have. Every SIGGRAPH, there's something new and different that you just don't expect and you're amazed by. And I can't name the thing because I will not know until we get there what it is. And really that's what I'm looking for. What's going to be the whiz-bang surprise? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Max, what about you?
I'm gonna have to be biased. I'm gonna have to say I'm excited about the VR theater. The subcommittee, my subcommittee, is doing this amazing job of making it this amazing spectacle. It started in 2017, 2018. It was taken to the next level, and we want to just keep going farther with 2019. Really celebrate this emerging art form, and I think it's going to be this beautiful venue. We're already seeing interest. There's some amazing VR experiences happening out there, and I can't wait for us to collect them up, go through a juried process, and then make the best show possible. And so I think it will be really special. Cool.
Yeah. It's hard for me to narrow down a most looking forward to thing as well. There's so many. The Computer Animation Festival this year is a one-night event, so one-night extravaganza in the Microsoft Theater next to the center next to the LACC.
Woo!
So that's new and different, but also exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to our keynote, but I'm one of the only people who know who that is right now.
Yeah, why don't you tell us?
This is the time.
You've been holding out.
Now is the time. But it's going to be awesome, so come see that one. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to all of the programs. You guys know that one of the main pieces of my vision statement was spectacle, like you were saying just a minute ago, Michael. And I think that we are doing a great job of that. This is going to be a spectacle in the best way possible. There should be something new and different and exciting for everybody who comes to this conference. And I hope that everyone will walk away from SIGGRAPH 2019 with at least one super special memory that they made, something extraordinary that they saw on site there. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't know. I can't wait. It's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to probably wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for all the questions. I hope we've answered everything for you. If we haven't,
hit everybody
on the website, get your questions in, and we'll be happy to email you back and answer as much as we can. One more time, if you want to look at the submissions information, that is at
S2019.SIGGRAPH.org.
I got it.
/submissions.
Bing! And that's all in the comments too.
And then here you go.
There's
you know you're at the right spot if it looks like this.
There you go.
Fantastic.
We hope to see you all in Los Angeles this summer, 28 July through August 1. Thanks for joining us.
See you there.
Bye, everybody.